June 29th, 2024, MMA legend and fan favorite Conor McGregor is set to make his triumphant and valiant comeback against Iron Michael Chandler at UFC 303. Now, this fight has seen massive and huge build-ups with events such as an Ultimate Fighter season that was really able to generate no hype at all and was coming hot off of the heels of Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes or something. I mean, Ultimate Fighter was dead at this point, and this season really only aided viewers in falling asleep after a shitty day at work, as well as a canceled press event that McGregor himself decided to no-show, even though they came all the way to Ireland just for him. With all that being said, we've seen some serious fan speculation recently about if we're even going to see the Irishman return at all later this month, basically just due to the overall lack of media that you really would expect from the UFC at this point. You know, we're used to seeing commercials, posts, photos, obviously pressers they try to do, but got canceled due to McGregor himself. But we're just so adjusted to seeing high media at this point from McGregor, but we've actually seen the complete opposite. They deleted all of Conor McGregor's fights off of their official YouTube page. Very strange stuff from the UFC here. Now, we all know that press events are honestly where Conor McGregor makes his money. It's where he was originally able to make his name by getting into the heads of his, Dustin Poirier, getting into the heads of Jose Aldo, getting into the heads of Chad Mendes. His great pressers, honestly, were what built McGregor's early career. Anytime you put a microphone in this guy's face, he is going to get millions of views. And if you don't believe me, just check any of your favorite MMA media page and look at their most popular videos. All of them have Conor McGregor's face everywhere. So for Conor to bail on a fight against somebody that he already has beef against, I mean, we saw it on The Ultimate Fighter a little bit, just kind of has red flags all over it. This is somebody he actually has disdain for. It's in his home country. This is his big return after getting hurt. Red flags all over the place. But honestly, this topic has been beat to death. And I really want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the UFC's antitrust lawsuit and how something that just recently came out today could really maybe be a reason that we're seeing McGregor potentially being not that interested in taking this fight. Now, to catch anyone up who might not know about what this lawsuit that I'm talking about is, the UFC antitrust lawsuit was a class action suit filed against the UFC and Zuffa themselves by former fighters, most notably John Fitch, all the way back in 2014, stating that the UFC had basically used shady and unethical practices to downsize competing MMA promotions and essentially monopolize the market, allowing them to have serious leverage against other fighters when it came to their contracts. And if you really think about it, the UFC made a name and a history early on in their infancy and just buying different competing promotions. Obviously, most notably, early on getting all of their lighter weight classes, most famously buying Strikeforce and the WEC early on. Now, this lawsuit was seeking to get reparations for anybody who had fought from the UFC from 2010 to 2017, December of 2010 to June of 2017. Financial reparations to anybody who was in this pool. Now, who else would be in this fighter pool than the notorious one himself? The rich 100% get richer. Now, obviously, from this time in 2010 to 2017, we saw Conor McGregor really take financial matters into his own hands, just blowing up his brand and skyrocketing to the face of the sport, where he currently really honestly still remains a decade later, even fighting Floyd Mayweather just shortly after the time of this lawsuit really expired, making over $100 million, proving that he was in no need of any sort of payouts. Now, with all that being said, earlier this year we found out, almost 10 years later, that the suit was finally settled in court, with fighters receiving a whopping $335 million settlement. Pretty far off from the original $1.6 billion that they were trying to ask for, though. Now, this morning, some information came out about the payouts of this lawsuit and what some money went to some different people. I guess the payouts didn't come out, but from the information that we learned from the lawsuit, you can deduct what certain people were made. Now, obviously, because lawyers were pretty hard on this case for about a decade, they wanted their cut of the cake as well, so $120 million did end up going to lawyers, which left some of the fighters with $215 million, being paid out now under the TKO name since the WWE merger. Now, from the information that came out this morning, we learned that roughly 230 grand were paid out to each fighter based on each million that they were making throughout that period of time. So with this information, people were able to kind of figure out who was making what and who took home the most money from this lawsuit ultimately. Shockingly, $6 million going to the Conor McGregor, the notorious one himself. Now, obviously, Conor's love for fighting over this period of time was seriously beneficial to him in the long run. I mean, this guy had 10 fights in 4 years, all of which were during the time of this suit, three of which being absolute mega fights in the Diaz rematch, the Aldo Championship, and the Eddie Alvarez double championship fight. I also have to say, I find it kind of hilarious that after settling on such a controversial lawsuit, the TKO the TKO is what it's under now. Their stock has actually risen since this happened. It really shows that, it really just matters what you have or haven't done lately. Now, with all this being said, I'm really not sure if it's fair to say that just $6 million is what's going to be firmly keeping Conor McGregor away from the octagon or anything, but I think it is absolutely wild that this guy just got 6% of the total amount of a lawsuit being paid to over 1,200 fighters who actually really needed this money. I mean, so much so that they sought out to the reparations in the first place. And Conor McGregor, we all know, is extremely well off, chilling in his yacht, smoking blunts, snorting coke, drinking his whiskey. I mean, Conor McGregor is absolutely loaded, and we're not even going to pretend he's not. Anyway, yeah, just really a short video here. Just kind of wanted to go over this. I thought it was something worth talking about. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one. Bye.